This is your Neepawa Town Council Debrief for the March the 21st, 2023 meeting. The debrief will take you through the key issues being discussed by Council and provide a bit more information on what they mean for the town. Because this week's Council meeting was again a lengthy one, the debrief has been produced in two parts. We begin the second half of the meeting with several Council reports, with nearly all councillors having had subcommittee meetings over the past 2 weeks. Councillor Pottinger reports on Tourism Manitoba's Destination Report, which was presented earlier this week. They talked about the strengths and weaknesses in Neepawa's desirability and availability as a tourist destination, and prompted several creative ideas to strengthen our position, particularly around housing and accommodations. Deputy Mayor Parrott talked about the Physician Recruitment and Retention Committee's efforts to bring new doctors into our community, including training, accrediting doctors from outside of Canada, and local graduates. Councillor Nadeau had several items on his plate, the most exciting of which was reporting on the new subcommittee for volunteerism and environmentalism, which was nearly done with hashing out its vision and mandate, and will be coming before Council to be approved in the near future. And finally, Councillor Sisley reported on the handy vans increase in usage, including new special trips for Celebrations Dinner Theatre, in addition to their casino trips, as well as the launch of the new ice bikes in the Yellowhead Centre.
Last week I had the privilege of attending Tourism Manitoba hosted a meeting here in town to discuss our destination area assets. It was a really interesting look at, research was done before they came, and then they came and visited the community as a tourist. And then she does a SWOT analysis of our strengths, our weaknesses, and she presented that. And then the discussion afterward, I think, was the most important part of that meeting. The challenges of housing in Neepawa when you're trying to attract tourism. Come to Neepawa, but don't stay because there's nowhere for you yet. So there was a lot of really creative ideas that came out at that meeting, and it was interesting to hear an outsider's perspective of what we have that's ready, what we have that we should capitalize on better, because you don't think of it when you live here. So I really enjoyed that, and it was really an interesting time. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. All right, anyone else?
Yes. We did the annual general meeting for the Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association. So this is Highway 16 all the way to Pacific Ocean, wherever it ends. And it's a group promoting good highway construction, highway safety, and economic development along. And part of that meeting was connecting the CAO for that group with our EDAM, our rural EDAM, I can't remember what it's called, but the Rural Economic Development Office from Manitoba. And there was also that Travel Manitoba meeting, which was pretty good. A lot of talking happened there. And I don't know if it's good to mention the fact that they thought that, maybe even Margaret Lawrence home could be a bed and breakfast, Airbnb.
That was one of and I thought it was a brilliant idea. Margaret Lawrence home needs money, so why not transform rooms? Because the people that are coming to see Margaret Lawrence can afford to pay a substantial amount of money to stay in Margaret Lawrence home. I thought it was brilliant. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and then Sunday, I got to be at the championship game for the basketball league in town here, the finale. And there was a lot of medals and trophies to hand out then. It was exciting, nail-biting final game. And just so everybody knows, Bryce Parrott is my nephew, not my son. He was on the winning team, but, And then I guess the big one is we had our physicians recruitment and retention meeting today, and You know, I hear a lot about how difficult it is to get a doctor for starters, and to get an appointment and get lined up, and how long it takes to wait for everything. We had what was supposed to be an hour-long discussion, ended up being 2 hours plus, that dealt with exactly how people get trained to be doctors in Manitoba, how we bring people from other countries and the journey they have to take. Because we actually have a few people around here who are doctors, but they're not accredited for Manitoba. And just because you're accredited in Saskatchewan does not allow you to practice in Manitoba until you do the right application form, which I thought was really different. There was a thing on CBC about blue sealing doctors when they come to Canada. They get tested, they go through all the requirements, and they get their blue seal, and the blue seal would then allow you to practice anywhere in Canada. That's a progressive conservative push, apparently. When I asked the doctors about it, they said it's possible, but very, very difficult to get it to happen. And so we're working, you know, we have an account, we have money for that. We're working currently on getting one doctor through, he didn't get in the IMG program, but we're also going to see if we can spark that up, because there's a second draft tomorrow. If not all the slots got filled, so he still might get in on that. So they've got 2 people in the wings. They've got our medical clinic operates where they are hospital doctors, they're emergency room doctors, and they're clinic doctors. And right now, Prairie Mountain Health is supplying a few doctors to come in and help with the ER, so they'll do a 24-hour shift. And so our doctors, since December, have decided to do the 24-hour shift at the ER and not do clinic that day. And that is creating it's a little more difficult for them to get their clinics done, but it's making it easier when they are doing their clinic time. And it's taking some of the stress off by having the extra doctors in. And one of the things we did say is that doctors coming out now want to be hospital doctors more than general practitioners. And I think we have 3 residences coming. I think one's here already. It's Rural Student Week, so Mary Ellen Clark and her team are taking some students and showing them what Neepawa is all about, and then the doctors are also doing that and having them do procedures and stuff to say. So, yeah, it was a very exciting meeting. And we have 2 of our local graduates from NACI who are currently in the medical program that I know of. And when I asked, what is the possibility of them coming back to their own home community, the tendency is students don't like to come back and doctor their classmates. So they want to choose a different community. A takeaway from it was when new doctors come, the unknown housing, and like settlement services. What do we do for housing? Some communities have a house for doctors to come in, local doctors to come in. What do they do for child care? So it's a normal thing at a higher level, and they don't get paid. Like when they start actually working and building up their practice, it takes 6 weeks to get to their first paycheck. And they're like any other student, heavy with debt. And I think that's probably what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Wood.
I usually try to start first because it's hard to talk about these great reports, definitely. It's been a busy 2 weeks. On March 9th, the Committee for Volunteering and Environmentalism met. So that's our Honorable Mayor Headley and myself, we met, and we're finishing up, I think, the building stages of this new committee. and we're probably going to be bringing it to council in the near future to get approval moving forward with some exciting, hopefully some exciting programming that will help support Neepawa. And I know we're getting closer and closer to bringing it to you to show you what we're thinking, how it can help support Neepawa. On March 14th, we had some restorative justice, and some of my colleagues here were there with me, and you know, it's nice to see that we're getting back into the flow of helping in that sense. March the 15th, there was a Western Manitoba Regional Library meeting, and it was strictly just working on policy and things like that, so not a lot to report there. But the Westlake meeting that I had on March 15th was exciting because we were talking about how tomorrow night at the Legion, the LPN program, March 22nd, anyone that's interested, they're going to be one of the presenters, Westlake Employment Services, but so will Settlement Services will be there also, along with ACC, who's going to be presenting how it'll work here in Neepawa. So if anyone's interested how it would work, or if they want to help support someone or get more information, definitely something important to go to. Also with Westlake, very excited that on April 25th, we're going to be part of the job fair. We're also teaming. It's going to be at Arts Forward from 3 to 7 p.m. on the 25th, and it's really nice when we can hold local events right here in our community for our students and for our citizens that are looking for employment. There's a lot of good employment out there, and really exciting to see how that's going. We're also using Marilyn Crew, who's our EDO here, so that's really great too. She's the one that's kind of, I think, putting everything together. So it takes someone to help glue everything together. She's doing an excellent job with that too. And the last one I'll just say is the Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association. We're fortunate. Neepawa is going to be hosting the AGM this year. So that's just our annual general meeting, and we've been trying to contract out some local caterers here in order to, we're going to have people coming from all around our region, from Russell all the way here, and we would like to host it in one of our local facilities, and I think we're looking at Arts Forward, but we're just confirming if that'll work.
Okay.
Oh, give me a date. I said I might have a little pull there. No. I wasn't sure if you were contacted yet from. Okay.
Just give me a date.
Okay, so that's going to be around April 27th. So there's someone else that's the lead on programming our AGM. And thanks to our CEO, she's helping share some information, also some contact info with catering and just to get some options. But it'll be a really nice turnout, and Neepawa is a great place to host. So we're really proud to host the event there. And that's everything from me.
Thank you, Councillor Nadeau. Anyone else? Councillor Gerard.
I can give the shortest one, and I promise I will. On March 7th, the Human Resources Committee met to discuss a number of staffing issues within the town, but under the Freedom of Information and Privacy Agreement Act, we are not allowed to discuss the conversations of that meeting. That is our decision. Take notes.
Mine won't be quite as short, but it'll be fairly short. Handyman meeting met today at lunch. There was 414 trips in the month of February. Some exciting stuff that Michelle at Hand is working with Handyman on. So they are doing a celebrations dinner theater show trip. It is planned for mid-April, and there will be a casino trip for the end of April. So just keep watching our Facebook page, Handyman Neepawa, and I will have those posts up probably, what are we today, Tuesday, probably by Thursday. The information will be up about those. I just wanted to touch briefly on last Friday, our Days Off School program at Arts Forward. We got to go to the Yellowhead and use the ice bikes. The kids had an absolute blast with it. I've helped Lindsay. We've got some advertising set up for spring break, and they will be running ice bike rentals from 10:30 to 11:30 each day during spring break. It's $5 for the rental. They do have to cover their insurance with it, so they do have to charge that fee. And everybody does need a helmet, and we'll have to check in with Lindsay just to book some times on those bikes, because there is only 3 bikes. But the kids had an absolute blast on Friday, so.
Mayor Headley revealed the town's new strategic plan for the next 4 years and read out some highlights from the document, which focused on the growth of the town and includes a list of the town's priorities, which included such things as capitalizing on our strategic location within the province. This is a process that the town does go through regularly to continually examine where the town is at and refocus their efforts for the future. The full document will be available for everyone to read on the town's website in the near future.
All right, moving on the agenda, we've got our strategic plan. I'm going to talk a little bit about the council and staff have come together to build a strategic plan for the next 4 years. This will be on our website, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be on the website. I'm not going to read the whole thing, or we'll be here for another hour, but I'm going to just touch on some of the high points and just so that residents understand that there is a continual planning that is ongoing within this group. So the framework for our future, the strategic plan, as one of Manitoba's fastest growing communities, the time is now to plan ahead and welcome the future. We need to imagine what the town will look like, how it will operate, how it will grow, how business will flourish, how parks and green space will welcome all, and how creativity will thrive. Within the framework, we've come up with a vision. The vision is growing Neepawa as a community of choice through enhanced organizational excellence. Along with that, as any great organization has a mission statement, ours is to promote growth of safe and caring community by supporting a quality lifestyle, be accountable and transparent through proactive decision-making and policy development, provide beneficial and essential services as a community hub for the region, and create partnerships that enhance rural Manitoba, and encourage and support residents and businesses to invest their time and energy and values into building a strong, environmentally conscious community. With that, our values are to be responsive to the needs of our residents, to approach work with an unbiased judgment and sensitivity, welcoming, honest, and inclusive, honor our commitments, proactively aspire to set examples that others will follow, a learning workplace that grows through our experiences, passionate and dedicated to the serving the community, responsible approach to operations both financially and environmentally. So what kind of community do we want to be? Well, we have a number of priorities. Priority one is a well-balanced growth. Growth management needs to be to consider the regional context. So along with the priority one, there's a number of goals, and then there's a number of supporting actions. I'm not going to read through all of them, but one in particular is strategically expand infrastructure capacity to enable future development. And again, that's emphasis on strategically, and so again, a lot of resources go into our planning to ensure that we are moving forward. The next priority is sustainability and stewardship, leading Manitoba and Canada with a lagoon design that will represent the first installation of its kind for post-lagoon nitrification, a design that can be easily replicated by other communities. So the goal of sustainability and stewardship is ensuring policies and programs and investments support the asset management and retrofitting, repurposing of equipment, buildings, and infrastructure, providing a safe and reliable water supply, and positioning Neepawa as a leader in innovation, creativity, and technology. Priority 3 is economic stability and prosperity, a aligning resources and create regional partnerships to attract and retain and expand businesses. Within the sporting goals there, we've got capitalize on their strategic location at the intersections of Highway 16 and 5, collaborate and align resources with regional partners to attract a broad range of economic investment, and promote Neepawa as a key regional center for healthcare, recreation, retail, and professional services. Priority 4 is physical responsibility. Establish a sustainable framework to integrate strategic goals. And our last priority, priority number 5, is a vibrant and safe and healthy community. So meeting the needs of the community and promoting healthy living. We want to advocate within the community and with other levels of government to address the social challenges facing Neepawa, include health, recreation, housing, policing, community inclusion, and safety, to improve access to programs and build stronger community partnerships to facilitate healthy, active lifestyles. So in conclusion, Neepawa is a growing community, proud of its history, its high quality of life, and small town feel. And tonight we heard about that small town feel from Don Walmsley. To best serve those who live and work and play within Neepawa area, it's important to advance our strategic priorities to bring our vision to life. As we proceed, the demand to accomplish many things will always exceed the ability to provide them, so responsible planning will be the key to success. So like I said, it's an excellent document, and please go online and take a look at it and read it in full.
Manager of Operations Denise Kay reports that the Golf Course Bridge has been placed and final work is taking place on that location now. At the Park Lake location, work will soon be pausing for the spring so as not to interfere with the waterways and will resume on June 15th. As well, the town will soon be scraping the compacted snow and widening side streets as much as possible to accommodate the flow of water when spring melt arrives, which we hope is right around the corner. Councillor Gerard expressed appreciation for how quickly the town's plows were out after last week's snowstorm, which got Neepawa streets cleared and well ahead of many of the surrounding areas and indeed much of the province.
So we've had a few meetings and some updates. First one with the golf course. We've got an update from Stantec and 671. The bridge has arrived. The bridge is placed. So I do believe that they tried a big sigh of relief over there. There's some final cleanup, a few minor alterations to the site, but all the big heavy work is done, which is a big relief there. On the Park Lake setting, the minimal work happening for a little bit now because they're getting near that spring turnover, so they've got to be cautious now. But I believe that most of the off-site fill that's being hauled out of there has been completed. There's still some riprap being hauled in to supplement some of the work around there. And the last portion of their work will be that they're going to assemble a large bridge within the lake structure just to transport the material across. They deemed it too high risk to continue using the culverts with spring turnover, so they're going to be bringing in a temporary bridge structure that will facilitate the movement of material throughout the summer construction on that side. So that'll be the little change in landscape that we'll see over there. Another side note, the residents may notice that staff have been busy cleaning up side streets now. They're working, scraping the ice down those and widening them out as best they can, just in preparation again of warmer weather coming so that we can facilitate the flow of water and hopefully get those streets dried up pretty quick for everyone. Other pieces that we've been doing is here in the office, we've been busy on the budget side of things, so I think we pretty much have that finalized and also have an opportunity to review some of that, so that'll be coming up later on in coming meetings. That we've been just doing a lot of daily operation around the community, so.
Excellent. Any questions?
Just one comment. I just want to commend our snow clearing crew on that last storm we had a couple weeks ago, that we had snow plows in place on a Sunday, and the streets were opened up. I mean, And I know it's not always perfection, but we aim for excellence, and I think they definitely achieved that by getting out and getting snow moved as quickly as they did in that last storm.
Yeah, excellent comments, Daryl. I thought we were being suicidal, but we made the drive into Winnipeg on Sunday morning, and there was enough opened up for us to get out onto the highway, and it was surprising when we got into Winnipeg, the residential areas, nothing was touched, so big difference.
Swimming pool rates and swimming lesson rates will be seeing a small increase in the coming year to keep them in line with similar facilities in the area. It was noted that the rates as they stand do not cover the cost of the pool improvements that are going on this summer, and that the town will still be shouldering much of that additional cost.
So we're just looking at the swimming pool rates and what they've been over the past few years, and we're also looking at the fact that various increases have come about, whether you're looking at minimum wage increases or differences of, supply chain and whatnot. And we're also, as everybody knows, we're adding a slot cage to the pool area. So we're recommending a 5% increase on public swimming and programs and 7% increase on lessons. So if you're in agreement, that's our recommendation.
Any questions? Councilor Durant?
Is 5% going to be enough for that facility that currently loses on average
Never.
$30,000 to $40,000 annually, which is directly on tax bills, especially with the new costs associated with operating a water slide, potential additional lifeguard costs that are going to have 5% to cover that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We couldn't double or triple that to bring our costs back. It just is not something that we're going to recommend, because we understand we're always going to incur greater expenses and revenues on a pool. What this does, though, is it still keeps you in line with other facilities in the region. So you don't want to hear back it's cheaper to go to this community or that community. So we're just trying to make it reasonable for the people, knowing that at the end of the day, there is a big expenditure that has not been covered.
Just, that's the part I think I'm trying to illustrate, is that a 5% cost raise in fees does not solve the $30,000 to $40,000 operating loss that occurs there annually.
Right. Councilor Bond?
I think too that the public should know that in a time when our budgets, we just went through another budget discussion tonight, and budget numbers are tight and things are going up in cost. And the more programming and the more utilization that can be user pay rather than everyone pay for certain users, that's maybe where you'll see some more increases. Things like the pool and the campground is coming up next. User pay is the way to get more money out of the people who use the products. And you'll maybe see more of that going forward, because it's things we do have control of the income. Though it still loses, we still have to have the people using it who are contributing to it.
Yeah, excellent points.
Also covered were correspondence, regular financial reports, a variance application, an annual change to campground rates, an amendment to the refunds NSF charges policy, and the second and third reading of the bylaw to increase the fee for tax certificates. You can view end-to-end coverage of the Town Council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. If you have comments, questions, or topics that we might be able to shine some light on, please reach out at 204-476-2639, by email at nactvnews@gmail.com, or on Facebook at Neepawa TV. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.